Hey, True Believers, England Teen here with another batch of new comic book reviews. Kind of excited to talk about some of these because I was really looking forward to the Sandman, and then because it's Robert Vinditti, one of my favorite writers, and then we have Riley Rosmo on the art. So, did he ruin it? Did he not? Sit back, relax, and let's get this party started.
I know you're gonna dig this.
First up on the menu, ladies and gentlemen, is Wesley Dodds the Sandman, or Wesley Dodds Sandman, because it's actually Robert Venditti's Wesley Dodds the Sandman. So this was a case, as I've said for the last 5 years, of be careful what you wish for. Meaning a lot of people go, hey, I wish they could bring this character back, or I wish they could bring that character back. Or in this case, I wish they could bring back the JSA, and for what we've been seeing, this is not going to be good, kids. What they're doing to the JSA characters, definitely Green Lantern, is not going to be fun and happy. So it comes down to, what is the Dodds about? What is the Sandman about here? And Robert Vinditti gives us a very solid story. First of all, you do learn who Wesley Dodds is. You get a good sense of his morality, you get a good sense of the world around him, and you get a good sense of his motivations. There's even one scene where he's selling his, or trying to sell his gas to the military. All of this works. It really does. And I had no doubt. Robert Vinditti is one of my favorite writers. Of course, he's famous for the Hawkman that everybody is praising. If you haven't read it yet, you're doing yourself a disservice. But I also like his X-O-Man Award, and I was looking forward to seeing what he could do with Sandman, basically Sandman Mystery Theater, which I was a big fan of. I could see this being an excellent noir story. Unfortunately, the art does not travel with it. It's Riley Rosmo. When I heard Riley Rosmo was going to be drawing Robert Vinditti, it's like, holy crap. This is the opposite of putting makeup on a pig. This is putting a pig in a big old makeup factory. It just doesn't work. Now, I got to admit, this is some of the best Riley Rosmo art I have seen. But it's still bad. It still has those ugly faces, the wonky bodies. It just doesn't fit. And that's a big problem. I don't think it's enough of a problem to tank the Sandman. I really don't. I truly do enjoy this book. However, it does come close. They just need a better artist for this. Next up on the docket, it's kind of another situation like the Sandman. Okay, we're bringing back a classic team. How do they do? I think Ed Brisson is the writer on this one. Now, I've got to tell you, there is a story here I really wish they would have stuck with. This is Alpha Flight, and they're dealing with the, quote, mutant problem, unquote. The island of Krakoa has proven to be an enemy of the state, and the state wants Alpha Flight to round up all the mutants, because they are an in for the X-Men, for the mutants from Krakoa. And I think that is very interesting. That's a good story right there, man. Seriously, and throughout the issue, we're seeing Alpha Flight go out. It's kind of like the original issues of X-Factor, where they... And by the way, I'm just giving you a big old spoiler if you haven't read it already. And I know this is a couple of months old, but yeah, I wanted to read Alpha Flight, so I read it from the beginning. They use the whole thing like X-Factor, where they're going out and it looks like they're attacking all the mutants and they're trying to bring them down. They've got Box, by the way. He was an old Omega Flight character. I think it was Omega, maybe Beta. And he's using his Box robots as sentinels to hunt mutants down. And they're even doing the whole thing where they're trying to find mutant sympathizers. Now, we see normal Canada just go into an authoritarian state in real life. I thought it was brilliant to do this where Canada is going into an authoritative state in the comics, and that they had a superhero team that was acquiescing. I thought this was freaking brilliant. It's something we never saw before, except for maybe Enemy Ace, where you got the World War I from the side of the Germans. Unfortunately, they back off at the end. They're like, ha, we're actually working with the mutants. Har, 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 har. And from there, it really just becomes a normal superhero tale. And I found, oh man, okay, I'm going to read the second, maybe the third issue, see how this goes. But man, I was excited to see something different. Next up, we have Alice Never After #1. I don't know if I mentioned that Alpha Flight was #1. So far, all three are number ones. Dan Panosian did the art and writing here, and I don't know how different this is, but I do like the take on it. This is Alice in Wonderland, and it's kind of asking the question, what if it's all in her head? What if Alice is actually mentally insane, and this is all going on in her fantasy land? She's, in the beginning, we saw her, she's catatonic, and we see all of this playing out inside her thoughts. This could be a great example of a split personality disorder. And we even see the Red Queen as a real person on the outside. So it does play this off. As she goes around, she's hunting for the White Rabbit again in Wonderland, and you're hearing the adults around her talk about what to do with her in the real world. And it kind of is coming together as she's almost like she's absorbing all what she hears around her, but not reacting or responding to it. So her mind is creating an adventure for her that coalesces with the story going outside. I thought the art, and you can see it's going by you right now, the art is just fine. I mean, it really fits. This reminds me of the way Fables looks, or early Sandman before it got into like The Wake and all that kind of crap. Overall, I'm in for this. I'm in. I'm on this book to the end. I think this is so far so good. I recommend it highly. Check it out if you can find it. And unfortunately, that is one of the problems with independent comics. Only a few issues are ordered for each store. So do yourself a favor and either request from your local comic book shop or search for it online somewhere. You won't be disappointed. And finally, we have Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville. So I did a full reading of this on I Love Comics. The link is in the description below to the channel. Go find that. I think you'll have a good time with it. I went panel by panel, page by page, and holy crap. This is one of the worst comic books. This is almost America Chavez bad. But it's not as fun as America Chavez was, and that's the big problem. There is no one here who acts like they are. Definitely not Mrs. Kent here. That's Superman's mom right there, and she is not acting in character. They have this black girl come in, and she is what every Karen on Twitter thinks is funny. If you notice, Ice and Fire wear their superhero outfits all the time. Fire is an ignorant ass who believes she needs to bring trouble to Smallville so she could get clicks on YouTube and IG or whatever it is. This is a ridiculously dumb comic. I wish I could say something good, except for, in all honesty, it is kind of a fun, stupid comic. And by that, I mean this book is so bad, it's like a Rocky Horror Picture Show. Once again, not as good as America Chavez. I think that will be the best forever. One of those things like... you might outsell the Beatles, but you can never say you outsell the Beatles because people will think you're shit because the Beatles are awesome. America Chavez is that way for bad comics with me. But this one will do it, man. I don't recommend it. If you bump into it and somebody accidentally reads it to you, like say on I Love Comics, going over, check it out. Sure, yeah, fine, check it out. You'll have a good time. But otherwise, run from this book. Just do not want. There you go, kids. Those are my thoughts and feelings. What do you think? What did you think about these books? Let me know in the comments below. And I'd like to do this. So here you go, from worst to best. Let's rank today's books. I don't think it's any big surprise that Fire and Ice is the worst book of this bunch to me. There is barely any quality to it. Other than, hey, do you like bad comics? You should read this. I cannot recommend it. Alpha Flight #1 came in 3rd place, but the thing is as much as I think I overdid it on the criticism, I did like this book. I just wished it went in a different direction, had the strength to stand by its convictions and such. Like I said, it's not bad for what it is. I actually enjoyed it. I just think it would have been a lot braver if it stuck to its guns. Now, this may be a surprise. My #2 is Wesley Dodds Sandman. I do think this is a good noir story. I think Robert Vinditti really steps up. I like it. I'm going to follow this book. But please, can we get Riley Rosmo off of it pretty damn quick? My number one book for the video here is Alice Never After. I thought this was just a joy to read. I like the take that maybe Wonderland is in her head and she's going insane. I like that take on it. There's a lot to love here. I don't think it's the most original. I've seen this done before, but I think this is a very good approach on a story that we thought we knew, as they say sometimes.
Dig this. Dig this.